2012 was a time of endings. I found myself in an unfamiliar space, feeling disconnected from my art, my work, everyone, including myself. Starting this album was as terrifying as it was thrilling. I knew it would be different. I was hungry for that. I could see it and feel it, but I couldn't hear it yet. I didn't know what it would become, except that I wanted it to represent me. I was keen to collaborate with some of my favourite musicians, so the first thing I did was reach out to Lawrence and Richard Pike from one of my favourite Australian bands, Pivot. Over the next 6 months, we worked together and apart, volleying ideas and sketches from one end of the world to the other. Slowly but surely, a sound developed, a universe where I could tell my stories. I finally had a landscape mapped out and a sense of direction. Now it was up to me to get there. In 2013, I returned to Melbourne, a city that to me had always represented home and hope. It was here that I met Dustin McLean, a talented musician and an up-and-coming producer. I immediately recognised that I needed a real-time collaborator, a person to bounce off, someone to take care of the technical side so I'd be free to immerse myself in the songwriting. With Dustin, I was free to play to my strengths. Together we fleshed out the existing sketches and made entirely new songs. A song can start from anything. A word, a sound, a rhythm. As long as it triggers something in you, it's worth chasing. This song was the first one on the album to start with vocals alone. I woke up one morning with a melody in my head. I couldn't shake it, so I saddled up and recorded it, tuning my vocal down a couple of octaves. I sat in my study looping it, playing around with vocal harmonies and counter rhythms. The melody was kind of like taunts children sing to each other. But by the time the first bits of percussion were added in, the song took on a bolder mood, more purposeful than taunting. Around this time, the story of a very brave young woman from Pakistan named Malala Yousafzai was making its way across the globe. Marked for death at age 15 by the Taliban because of her activism for women's rights, she was attacked on her way to school and shot 3 times. But she survived. For anyone to have the bravery to do what she does, to face down grown men oppressing her and every woman like her, to survive an attack like this and raise her voice even higher, is amazing. This song became a song for Malala, in honour of her incredible first stand.
Now who's running? I'm not running. Just keep running out of you. Now who's running? I'm not running. Just keep running out of you.
In November 2013, my musical family and record label, Elefant Traks, was celebrating their 15th anniversary. Even though my album was far from finished, there was enough there to perform a short set. It was the first time in a few years I'd felt truly nervous, and that was confirmation I was onto a good thing. The shows were sold out and the response was fantastic. I wanted to write a song that reflected my love for all things film noir, Agatha Christie, and old Hollywood, something dark and foreboding. I had a clear idea of what I wanted, so I reached out to someone I knew would nail it, Jay Walker. He was amazing, jumping from instrument to instrument, chasing the sound, jamming with me while I plucked away on a deconstructed piano or played percussion on an old bed frame. It felt more like playing around than anything else, but it was really productive. We wrote Among the Bells in 4 sessions. It was January 2014. The album had taken shape and there was momentum. It was time to push it across the finish line. Pip Norman, a good friend, an extremely talented producer, musician and songwriter, joined us for pre-production and some additional songwriting. In spite of having nearly a complete album, I still felt like it was lacking that final bit of definition, a statement of purpose. Pip and I hunkered down in the studio and started to refine the demos and work on a few new songs. I wanted to write a song that would capture this change and this feeling of being on the cusp of finishing something that had been very hard but also very rewarding. In many ways, the song is about itself, about how hard it is to create something from nothing, the wider paradox of music being priceless and intangible while still being something that we as musicians make our living from. The moment the phrase "echoes in the Aviary" popped up, we looked at each other and just knew that it was the title. And I recognised something inside me that I'd been trying to name for